Hello. It's been a while, again. I know I take extended time away from doing videos, but this time it wasn't my fault. I had planned to make some videos last season, but then Bungie announced that they were going to be getting some changes set up for us for our mod system and the way everything was going to work. And I decided that I didn't really want to make any builds or any kind of videos that would be put out there if it was going to change completely. Now, I didn't know what was going to change or how it was going to look, but I just thought, you know, if I put it out there and it's not going to last, why don't I just wait and see? So I decided not to put out any videos at that time. But now that we have everything in the system now, I decided now I can take those videos I had on my back burner and tweak them now to make it work with the new system. So you will start to see some more stuff now, hopefully, and I hope you like them. Today we are going to talk about the two Stasis Warlock gloves. We already have the previous one, Osmiomancy Gloves, and we have the current ones, the new ones, the Ballidorse Wrathweavers. So, as some of you probably already know, Osmiomancy Gloves gives you 2 cold snap grenade charges, and it regains grenade energy based off of the amount of enemies that you freeze and the type of enemies that you freeze. Higher tier enemies give you more grenade energy, and if you can get a crowd of enemies at one time, you can pretty much get your grenade back. Sometimes I just throw my cold snap grenade out and hit a crowd of enemies, and I basically have my charge back. So it kind of makes it really easy to use these grenades for the utility of having grenade charges and freezing enemies. It's really easy to do. The part that we always wanted to use these Zogs for is to make turrets. So you can use the 2 charges of grenades that you have to make 2 turrets. But then we tried to figure out what can you do to get as many turrets as you can. And there were a lot of ways to go about it, but the easiest ways had to do with Charge of Light, or using any kind of weapons that have Demolitionist, or the combination of both. Some people use the Glacial Harvest situation with Elemental Shards, which is completely gone now with this new system. But I used a system for myself where I got Charge of Light through orbs, which is similar to right now. I mean, the armor charge system is basically collect orbs and you get armor charge. The difference was, if you were Charge of Light, whenever you threw your grenade, you would use 1 charge. The current system works if you throw your grenade and you have firepower. You will use all of your charges that you currently have, and depending on how many charges you have, that will give you a certain amount of grenade energy based on that time you threw it. The thing is, you kind of have to get charged again before you throw your second one, and if you're playing by yourself, that's a little bit harder, but you can still do it as long as you have some orbs available to you on the ground. If you're playing with a fire team, it's a little bit better because they could be constantly making orbs as well as you making orbs, meaning that you will have them more available to you. So it can happen, but it's not like it used to be. By the end of the Witch Queen year, I kind of switched away from the orb situation and I went to a quick charge with fusion rifle sort of Charge of Light build. I had the Riptide from Crucible. I had one with Demolitionist. So basically, as I got kills with it, I got Charge of Light and I also got grenade energy. And it worked out super duper well. Like, it was probably my favorite thing to do because I knew I could maintain having turrets on the ground because I could constantly kill enemies, get Charge of Light, but also get my grenade energy, and it was just great. That doesn't work now. There is no quick charge. There is no way to do it. The only way to go about it now is through orbs. And it doesn't mean it does not work, it's just less efficient. My belief is that Bungie kind of wanted to make this happen. I think that they did not really want us to have turrets all over the place, so this slows that down. You can still do turrets if you want to, you're just not going to get anywhere near what you used to have. On the other side of the coin though, if you just want to throw your grenades and freeze enemies, you actually can still do that pretty well. I mean, again, you get better grenade energy back when you just throw your grenade straight out. Freeze some enemies or freeze a crowd of enemies and you'll get your grenade charge back pretty easily. Freeze a mini boss, you pretty much get a whole big chunk back, so I will go with that. So the new exotics, Ballidorse Wrathweavers. That's a weird name to say, but this exotic basically works with your super. So I would just say, as a Warlock, if I played Stasis, I don't really consider my super to be my main thing. I guess you can use it more often if you had a lot of super energy, but the thing is, the Stasis super charges pretty slowly, so it's never been my main thing. I've always relied more on my grenades. More so, yeah, my grenades has been more important to me than anything else because my melee wasn't the most important thing either. Once they took away some of the tracking from the melee, it kind of took that all away from me. It just became all about grenades. So I don't know. If you want to go with this, if you get your super back pretty often, or if you really want to go with it, I think maybe, but let's just talk about it first. So with this exotic, basically your super is more enhanced. The shockwave you do with the second part of your super will be a little bit stronger. You'll get more shatter damage, and all of your allies that are in the range of the shockwave will get a overshield. That sounds good on paper, but I just want to say it doesn't really equate to what you think. How do I say this? The super is not that much better. Me personally, I will say I'm gonna go with Osmiomancy Gloves. To me, that's more a better use of your exotic slot versus this. I think that if they boosted this exotic a little bit more, or gave it something else that it can do, or if they boosted the power of the super, maybe, I don't know, but I don't think it's enough. I just don't think that it's worth using this versus Osmiomancy Gloves. My guess is maybe if you're playing some kind of activity where you wanted to play as a Stasis Warlock, you could do most of the stuff with the Osmiomancy Gloves, but whenever you want to use your super, you could switch exotics, and that might give you the benefit of like having the boosted super damage and also giving your teammates an overshield, but then you can switch back to Osmiomancy Gloves again, because it feels like this exotic is kind of a situational thing. Like, you can't use it all around like Osmiomancy. You can kind of put that on and that can be your main exotic for like the entire activity. But this exotic is only for when you're using your super. And it doesn't like extend your super, it doesn't, I don't know, like it just gives you a little bit more shadow damage. Like, it's not strong enough for me to say use this over the other. But I can imagine it being a switch exotic, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, that's just what I think. You can try it out for yourself and see, but the damage numbers isn't like it doesn't make the super become one of the strongest in the game. All of the Warlock supers are kind of the middle tier supers. They're not as strong as like Hunter supers. Yeah, so don't worry about this too much. So I hope this was helpful for some people. Thank you for watching. I will be getting back to some videos on my channel again, and hopefully there's something that I'll do that'll help you out. If there's anything you want me to try, please let me know, and I will do it, and I will see you all next time.